Tarzan was king of the jungle, a protector of its beauty, its creatures, and its secrets. Raised by a gorilla after his human parents died, he learned everything about his home. He knew the rustle of leaves that warned of danger, the cries of the birds signaling rain, and the rhythm that kept the wild alive. One bright morning, he knelt by a clear stream, sipping water with his furry companion, a playful young gorilla. The jungle sang its usual melody of chirping insects and rustling trees, but suddenly, the peace shattered. A loud, unfamiliar crack echoed through the forest. Gunfire. Tarzan's body tensed. The gorilla growled softly, sensing trouble. Without a second's delay, Tarzan grabbed a vine and swung through the trees, his companions scampering behind him. They followed the gunshots to their source, and what they found filled Tarzan's heart with fury. A group of armed poachers had surrounded a herd of elephants. The largest of the elephants, the matriarch, stood strong, shielding her calf. Her trunk lifted as she let out an angry trumpet, but the poachers didn't flinch. They were after her ivory tusks, ignoring her fight for survival. As Tarzan prepared to intervene, someone else appeared. A group of explorers dressed in dusty uniforms stepped out of the foliage, led by a young red-haired woman with sharp, observant eyes. She raised her hand, her voice steady and commanding. "Stop! These elephants are protected. What you're doing is illegal." "Illegal? Lady, out here I make the rules." Tarzan held his position, silently watching. He studied the woman. The courage in her stance reminded him of tales from his past, stories of his own mother. She stood firm, even as the scar-faced man raised his rifle. But Tarzan couldn't wait any longer. With a powerful shout, he launched through the trees and landed directly between the woman and the poachers. The jungle erupted behind him. Gorillas emerged from the shadows. A sleek leopard prowled forward, snarling. Birds swept overhead in a frenzied swarm. Even the elephants rallied, forming an unshakable wall. Tarzan grabbed the rifle from the poacher's hands and hurled it into the dirt. The scar-faced man hesitated. "Who? What are you?" he stammered, inching backward. Tarzan didn't answer. The jungle had spoken, and its fury was clear. Faced with forces they couldn't fight, the poachers scrambled away, disappearing back into the shadows. The red-haired woman stared at Tarzan, her mouth slightly open. "You're real," she whispered. Tarzan glanced at her, his blue eyes calm but sharp. He tilted his head, studying her. He couldn't sense fear in her, only curiosity and determination. He motioned to the matriarch elephant to lead her herd away, before turning back to the strange woman. Over the following days, Tarzan learned her name. Jane Porter, a biologist from England. She explained her mission to protect the Congo's wildlife and stop Kruger, the scar-faced leader, and his band of poachers from destroying the jungle for profit. Though Tarzan had always been cautious of humans, something about Jane's passion made him trust her. She wasn't here to harm, she wanted to save. Jane shared stories of her world far away, cities made of steel, skies filled with smoke, and people who often forgot the beauty of nature. But their partnership faced a greater challenge. Kruger returned, this time with more poachers, planning to hunt and destroy whatever stood in their way. Jane and Tarzan knew they had to act quickly. Combining Jane's knowledge of traps with Tarzan's mastery of the jungle, they set up an ambush. They led the poachers into a maze of thick vines, hidden pits, and fields of quicksand. As confusion spread, the elephants roared and charged, scattering the intruders in all directions. In the final battle, Tarzan faced Kruger atop a towering waterfall. Kruger raised his rifle, but Tarzan was faster. With a loud cry, he knocked the weapon from his hands and delivered a warning. "Leave this place," he told him in a voice like thunder, "and never return." With no fight left, Kruger fled, his defeat complete. When the authorities arrived, led by Jane's team, the poachers were captured, ensuring justice for the creatures of the jungle. Under the glowing moonlight, Jane turned to Tarzan. "You've saved so much here. You could come with us. The world deserves to know about you." Tarzan gazed at the trees, at the creatures watching him from the shadows. "My story is here," he said softly. "But your voice is powerful. You can fight for the jungle in your world." Jane nodded, understanding. Their paths differed, but their mission was the same. She left with promises to defend his home. Tarzan watched her go, knowing the jungle had found another guardian. Years later, legends spread across the Congo, tales of a man who moved like shadow and light, protecting the animals and fighting against harm. And far away in London, Dr. Jane Porter spoke to crowded halls about the beauty and importance of the jungle. The world listened, seeds of change taking root. Tarzan swung through the trees, his heart beating in time with the rhythm of his home. Both he and Jane were guardians. One lived in the wild, the other in the world beyond. Together, they proved that no boundary could stop a shared fight for nature's survival.